The hunt is on. That's the big saying around here because they got everything you can imagine for sale when it comes to hunting. SimmonsSportingGoods.com, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Same day as cash. 24 months same as cash. So your opportunity is at SimmonsSportingGoods.com. All right, let's jump gears. We're going to visit with Attorney General Jeff Landry. Jeff, you with me?
I'm with you, Moon, and I am so jealous that you're at Simmons Sporting Goods and I'm not there.
You know where I'm at then.
Like me, I mean, I've already got the itch. We got a little bit of a cool front came in, and I'm ready to go hunting.
All right, Jeff, I know you're ready to go hunt, but we got a couple other things to delve in. It made the Seattle Times. Judge won't make officials okay contract with LGBT language. As you know, the governor sued you, and basically you won. Start from the beginning. What happened with all this?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So back, right at the beginning of both of our terms, the governor issued an executive order that basically mandated that state agencies, boards, and commissions insert language dealing with gender identity discrimination. Okay, it's basically telling them that they needed to put in place policies that dealt with gender identity. The legislature has, on multiple occasions, in a bipartisan fashion, rejected creating a protected class for gender identity. I had over 40 legislators ask me for an opinion on his executive order. We issued an opinion in the spring on his executive order saying that, look, basically it was unlawful and unconstitutional. The governor refuses to go through the process which is put in place, basically asking the people's representative, the legislature, to create a protected class for gender identity, because he did, and they rejected it. He inserted that language in contracts involving legal services. Those are contracts that I have the discretion to sign. For that and numerous reasons, I rejected a multitude of legal service contracts for boards, commissions, and agencies. The governor took me to court, basically saying, listen, Attorney General, his argument was, you don't have a choice when it comes to legal services contracts. You have to do what I tell you to do. You are my client. The judge rejected that argument yesterday. So basically he put the governor back in his sandbox and said when it involves legal issues, the Constitution is clear that the Attorney General is the chief legal officer. And so we won.
Well, Jeff, what is happening now in the process? Because now I heard he may appeal on it, and I'm kind of laughing at it a little bit because he's trying to go against what the courts have already ordered, and he didn't have to put that in there. There's no contract that's not going to be issued for whatever. He's trying to put a special class of citizens, and that comes directly from the Obama administration, if you ask me.
What I found very entertaining was the fact that the governor basically, in his comments, said that I was trying to inject politics into these contracts. I think that, what I've learned about liberals is they love to turn it around. They love to take their actions and make it your fault. And what the governor's doing is injecting politics. There's no problem with being able to issue legal service contracts if the governor simply would take out language that the legislature has adamantly refused to sign off on. And so this is not something that I have a problem with. It's a problem that the governor has with the law and the process. And I think the courts basically said that. Look, I laughed that there was a headline on one of the major newspapers that said, judge sides with Landry. The judge didn't side with me. The judge sided with the law.
Well, but you got to remember, they're making this issue between you and the governor. The press is making an issue between you and the governor. You're right. The judge made a decision based on the law.
Right. And the fight is not between me and the governor. The fight is between the governor and the law. And the governor has an opportunity to change the law, which he tried to do during the session, and the legislature rejected that. And so he should go about recognizing that we have a process of checks and balances, and that it is the legislature that puts in place the policy for the state of Louisiana. And he's the one that has to execute that policy. If he doesn't like the policy, that's not his choice. If he can't change it, what we're seeing is what I think a lot of people are frustrated with is that when the executive, i.e. the president or governor, can't change policy in the normal scope of the way it's designed to change, they try to take it upon themselves to just unilaterally change it. Our system of government is not designed for that.
No, it's not designed for that, and that's why I was glad we won. I think the people won. They can look at it as a victory for you if they're looking at it politically. But I think if you're looking at it just from the standpoint of what's right and wrong, our legislature's decided not to give special privileges to anybody. And I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. What you want is a victory for the people and for the law, not a victory for Jeff Landry. They do that because the press makes everything political.
Look, I agree. Listen, I applauded the judge. I mean, I thought he was very attentive, very well prepared, asked real good questions, tough questions on both sides. And then he ruled based upon the law, not based upon politics. And that to me, that was the most heartwarming part of this entire process because again, it showed that our judicial system does work and that our system of government, while it has its imperfections, does work the way it's designed to do. And look, the governor has a right to take this issue to the First Circuit Court of Appeals. I don't believe he'll be successful there. That is a very, very respected circuit that takes its work very serious. And I believe the judge laid out a very strong legal argument as to why he made the decision he made. Now it's time to get on with the business of the people.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I just think that, he can continue to do that. I know you're not discriminating against anybody. You're just basically taking a law and applying it. The judge decided that you were right, he was wrong. I still think it's a victory for us. You're just saying it's no discrimination against anybody anyway.
Because I believe that our Constitution creates only one protected class, and that is the American citizen. And unfortunately, that's the protected class that seems to be under attack constantly. But again, I think that all men are created equal under the law, and that's how we should view it. And that when we try to put people in different blocks or in different boxes, we only feed to the diversity that we've seen in our country and creates the problems that we have today.
One of the things, Jeff, the judge says is that I believe the law is uncertain, that it does not provide the court with a clear path.
The other multitude of contracts that he issues that are not within my purview or my discretion to approve or disapprove, then the law is uncertain as to whether or not he can actually do that because, again, it seems to be that he's circumventing the will of the legislature. So that question is still not answered. Now, the question as to whether or not I have discretion on the legal services of the state, I think the judge made a very firm ruling that it is within my power. You got to remember, the governor was saying that that basically he was my client, and that I had to basically abrogate that whatever he wished. So if he instructed me this way, I had to simply follow the order, and that's what he was saying. He was saying that my approval of those contracts was ministerial. In other words, this is the contract you're going to sign, Jeff, and you just need to sign it and don't worry about what's in it. And the judge said, no, that's absolutely not what the law says, and it's not what our Constitution says. So you're right. It was a great victory for the rule of law and for the people of this state and the process.
Jeff, why do we have to have any anti-discrimination language in anything? You and I both know. You and me, we both know that you can't be anti-discriminative against anybody. My question to you is, why do we have to have any anti-discrimination language in any of these contracts, or anything else for that matter?
Again, I agree with you, Moon. I believe that our U.S. Supreme Court and our federal courts and Congress and our legislature has basically laid out where the classes of people that cannot be discriminated against. It's very well settled, and if we just abide by those rulings and that law, we should be fine. We don't need this additional language in there. There's so many problems with injecting this type of language in our contracts. It creates so much uncertainty for our job creators that are doing business with the state. It creates havoc in the legal system because when a person is allegedly discriminated against, what is his remedy? Again, the trial lawyers would love to be able to cottage industry this. And I said earlier, the classes that have been protected are very objective classes. It's based upon race. It's based upon gender, male and female. Gender identity is subjective. You wake up a male one day and then decide the next day that you want to be a female. That's a subjective test. How courts in the legislature grapple with that is problematic. That's why they rejected it.
All righty, Attorney General Jeff Landry. Jeff, appreciate you explaining everything, and like I said, big victory for the people of Louisiana.
Thank you, Moon. And listen, tell the people at Simmons I said hello. Wish I was there with you.
All right, Jeff Landry, of course, our Attorney General right here in the great state of Louisiana. Quick break. We'll be back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Anyway, great to have you with us. We are on the road again at beautiful Simmons Sporting Goods in Bastrop, Louisiana, SimmonsSportingGoods.com, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. We've been here, well, actually, we've been coming here for many, many years. Lindsay's going to join us again. Lindsay, the hunt is on, girl.
It's on.
Well, tell me about the brochure, because I guess this is on the website as well.
Yes, it is. It's 48 pages. It's on our website. It's SimmonsSportingGoods.com. You can flip through it page by page and shop. You can click on the items straight through to buy. On our website, if you order over $99, it ships for free. So the sale goes at least through the next 2 weeks. And
by the way, if Lindsay, you would be better off to tell people what you don't have on sale.
Yeah.
I went through this thing, and if you want guns, if you want something to carry a gun, if you want a scope, if you want, name it, they have it in here. Duck decoys.
Right.
Just about everything you can imagine y'all have on sale.
Yeah. We have, deer hunters that have started hunting and figured out they need something. We've got duck hunters that are coming in and buying all the shotgun shells, for the whole season. We've got Federal steel shot 3-inch at $10.99 a box, so it's really cheap. We can ship those if you go online and look at our sale paper. We can do that. You can also get on the list to get a sale paper in the mail. Our phone number is 1-800-726-9930. Just call the girls and they will get you on the list.
And you got 24 months, same as cash.
24 months, same as cash.
Financing available.
Yep. Get everything you need, no interest for 2 years.
Okay. People still ask about bullets and 22 bullets and all. Is that hard to get now? You pretty well stocked?
We're stocked. We've got a lot of hard to find ammunition. We've got tons of hard to find rifle shells, 22s, all kinds of stuff.
Well, I tell people they ought to call or go on the website if you can't find a website to call y'all, because y'all have a 70,000 square foot warehouse. Y'all got things here that a lot of companies may not even have.
That's right.
So
we try to have hard to find guns, hard to find pistols, hard to find ammo.
Here's a question for you. I call you up and say, Lindsay, I'm looking for this gun that we can't really find them anymore. Yeah. Can y'all stop and look for something for them too?
Oh, yeah, of course. We have girls answering the phone. We've got tons of guys back there at the gun department that can help you with anything you need if you're just looking for a particular item.
One of the things I want to let people know too is I was in the back, and you have archery.
Oh, yeah.
Place for people that come and they fix bows and everything, because y'all service guns and bows too, correct?
We do. We have a full gunsmith shop. We have a full archery shop. The guys in the archery department have been with me for 20 plus years. They're very knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you get a bow, we can fix it up.
Well, I want to tell people too. You always got a lot of gun sales, pistol sales. People want to buy something to protect themselves. It's really
tons
awesome.
of pistols right now. We've got, especially deer cameras. We've got a camera on the front page of our flyer. It's $29.99. Really good deer camera. We've got decoys for $27.99. We've got tons of clothing on sale. Big sales on scope. You can get a Zeiss scope for $240. Feeders for $70. We've just got a lot of different sales in that sale paper at SimmonsSportingGoods.com.
Well, y'all and folks, they're like y'all. They're waiting for everything to get cold. When it gets cold, y'all have got everything for people to stay warm.
Tons of clothing. Tons. We're fully stocked. The brand new, Sitka, Drake, Under Armour, Banded. We have tons of clothes stocked for men, women, and kids.
Okay, big question. Okay. Somebody wants to come in today, and let's say they wanted to spend $500 to $5,000. Y'all doing layaway?
Yep, 10% down for 90 days layaway.
We live it over 2 months for Christmas.
That's right.
That's why I was asking.
We have a lot of people that are already putting some stuff on layaway. You can put it on layaway during the sale, get the sale price, and pick it up closer to Christmas.
What I'm saying is a layaway have a certain amount of time you have to get it off?
90 days.
Okay, it's not bad at all.
No.
But that's a good idea. Somebody wanted to do some early Christmas shopping.
Yeah, and we have people that do the 24 months, same as cash. and, buy all their Christmas presents at once, and they can take 2 years to pay for it.
I hate to even think the process of Christmas right around the corner. You hate it worse than me.
No, I love it, really.
Actually, you love it, but you're a tired lady because I see all your group. They busted their fannies. Y'all have such big sales. All right, one more time. Give out the details, how to call you, website, all that good stuff.
All right, the phone number is 1-800-726-9930, 1-800-726-9930. You can look at our whole 48-page sales flyer at SimmonsSportingGoods.com.
I want to mention, too, they're open Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 6. Sundays, they are open 12 noon to 5 o'clock.
Right.
So, and by the way, are those special hours leading up to Christmas?
Well, through hunting season. We'll be open those hours through
January.
Through January.
Yeah. All right, Lindsay, thank you so much.
You.
We'll keep pushing. We'll have you back on a little later.
Appreciate it.
All right, Miss Lindsay, thank you so much. That's SimmonsSportingGoods.com. All right, first of all, I want to thank Jeff Landry for coming on. He did win the case. He won it for us. Bill Edwards, I told y'all when Scott Angel and Jay Darden helped shove the honor code down our throat and everybody bit into it, that he would be supporting Hillary, and he has. He's supporting Bananas Foster, and he has. And he's also this LGBT thing, which is crazy. Lawsuits against all companies are picking up. There's your governor. He's wrong on the issues. He's wrong for Louisiana, and he's going to be wrong for Louisiana. We got a lot more taxes that we have to fight against in the spring. He's not going to stop. We can't expect a lot of help from Republicans. Some of these Republican lawmakers don't get it. They're not going to get it, and the bottom line is they're not going to understand it, folks. They're going to keep pushing and thinking more taxes are going to prosper us. The people in Louisiana, it's not going to happen that way. It never has, and it never will. So we got to make sure we keep up next year with what Bill Edwards and them do. You have a lot of people pushing a road tax. Everybody that's pushing a road tax, any big shots in the community will be from people who would benefit from it, probably financially. Just you think of the names when it starts popping up. So we got to wait and see what happens. All right, quick break. Simmons Sporting Goods is where we're located today. When we get back, a lot more. Don't go anywhere, folks. Your phone calls are welcome. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Oh, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. We are at Simmons Sporting Goods, where the hunt is on. SimmonsSportingGoods.com, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Gigantic sale for you people that love to hunt. I'm telling you, a sale like you wouldn't believe. The number to call, 1-800-726-9930, 1-800-726-9930. Go to SimmonsSportingGoods.com. And you would be glad you did, folks, because I'm telling you, deals can be made here, and they've got them going on right now at Simmons Sporting Goods. We are here, of course, be here till 11 o'clock, 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. I don't know if y'all caught this. Let me just share a few things that are going on. You know, Trump said the election's rigged. By the way, great piece by Pat Buchanan. Oh, yeah, it's rigged. And it goes through the process. I'll get there. But let me just show you a few things that's out there. Journalists have given money 27-1 to Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. And, of course, they favor Hillary. That's what we mean by rig. It was funny. I came to Monroe last night. I'm watching the news, and they're interviewing the person that heads up the elections. And I was the registered voters office, and the lady was real nice. I met the lady before, real nice lady. She was doing nothing wrong. They were just saying, well, Trump says it's rigged. And so they go interview these people. He's not talking about just that. Although there's a report, 4 million ineligible and dead voters on voter rolls. These people wind up voting. People joke about this because this has happened in the past. So when they say rig, it's not just about the illegals and the dead people voting. It's a lot more that goes into when they say the thing is rigged. Corporate media exposed. You know, they have been 100% behind Hillary. The elitists all behind Hillary. That's when they say it's rigged. It's a lot more than just being rigged by cheating of votes. It's people don't understand that, but that's what they were doing last night. They were trying to make a point there. We have honest elections here. Well, thank you. We do have honest elections in some areas, but some areas will cheat. It's just amazing. Activists who bragged about starting Chicago Ride was on Hillary payroll. Did y'all see that article? I mean, think about it. Rasmussen has Clinton +1. The LA Times has Trump +2. This thing's not over yet. It's just not over yet. And I just wish people would just turn your TVs off, folks. You got to turn off that crap because it's going to be anti-Trump and it's going to stay anti-Trump. You got to understand that. Now, Pat Buchanan has a great piece. Is the system rigged? You betcha. And he goes talk about all the cultural changes we've had in our country just from the Supreme Court. That's why this election is not about Trump, which they've made it about Trump. It's really about the Supreme Court. It's all about the Supreme Court. And we know what Hillary's going to do. 50-year-old people who hate this country, and they're going to change the rest of our culture. We've already changed the definition of marriage. In the 60s, we took God and Jesus out of everything. 20, 30, 40 years ago, they had an opportunity to make English the official language. They didn't do it. That was a mistake. That was not racist. That was not bigoted. That was not anything. That was a major mistake in this country because we would know who wants to assimilate here. They would have to learn English. Okay? And so that's one of the many things that's been done in a cultural change. Now we got to tell a man or woman what bathroom they want to go to because we don't know what we're going to wake up as that day. That's cultural changes. That's changes that the Supreme Court is going to make that's going to hurt us. A Second Amendment has always been the right to bear arms. Always had the right to bear arms. That's going to change too. Freedom of speech. They're going to tell you what you can and can't say. So, I get a kick out of, and I say kick, I get upset. Pat Buchanan says, consider big media, the elite columnists and commentators, the dominant national press, and the national cable network, say Fox. Not in this writer's lifetime has there been such a blanket hatred and hostility to the presidential candidate of a major party. So what? They reply, we have free press. But in this election, big media have burst out of the closet and the regime and attack on the Clinton campaign aiming to bring Trump down. That's when he says it's rigged. Not only will there be some voting fraud and cheating going on, it's what the press is doing. It's what the elites are doing to make sure that Hillary Clinton can be the next president. Power of the press. The power of the press. Newt Gingrich made a good point the other day. He goes on to say, and by the way, I saw this, without the unending one-sided assault of the news media, Trump would be beating Hillary by 15 points, which brings me to this. Folks, Trump has to turn everything back on the issues. Everything needs to be about the issues. Get out of all this other stuff. Hillary cannot run on one issue. Let me give you a few of them. Obamacare and what they've done to the healthcare system. She cannot run with that. That is a disaster. That's a total chaotic disaster. Okay? Borders with illegals. Folks, another article today, they are pouring in here under Barack Obama. We're not stopping it. These people are not coming to assimilate. Do you realize 65 million people in America don't speak English? So what would happen if tomorrow English was the official language? These people would have to speak English and assimilate, or they have to leave. You wouldn't have to say a word. 65 million people is growing every day because of what the president's doing. So he's got to come back to border and illegals and Obamacare, rebuilding of the military. Folks, our debt, that should be a big issue with Trump. It was $10 trillion when Obama got in. It's 20 now. That's a doubling of the debt. Hillary can't run on any of this stuff. How about jobs and economy? Look how bad. She can't run on that. She loses when it comes to issues. He's got to get back to talking about issues. That's what brought him to the top in the first place, because of these weak Republicans who've never done anything to fight Obama. Education. I tell you, another issue is inner cities. Inner cities. Let's go take a look at what's happened with inner cities in the last 8 years. And there's been no improvement. None. All you got to do is go take a look at it. What does Hillary say? What does the president say? You can't say anything. Infrastructure. Social Security. It's going broke. We're not doing anything to change it. We put more people on Social Security every day. Language. English being the official language of this country should have been adopted 40 years ago. Folks, our culture is being destroyed from within. When Hillary Clinton, if she becomes president, if she gets hold of the Supreme Court, these Supreme Court justices told us that killing a baby is okay. It's okay to slaughter 60 million babies. It's okay. That's what the courts ruled. The courts ruled that marriage is not a man and a woman anymore. That's totally against the Christian culture. That's against any good culture. They tell us now that a man could feel like a woman and go in a woman's bathroom today. I mean, you think about the cultural changes that what the Supreme Court has done to us. No prayer in school. So you go on and on and on. They're changing our culture. Let Hillary put some more people in there. Watch what happens with the other cultural change. Then you don't have an America anymore. And that, my friend, is where we headed at in this election. All these issues that Trump can be talking about. All these issues. Hillary doesn't have one issue she can talk about. Trump has the issues on his side. They're winning issues. And he wants to get caught up in this because he doesn't have the discipline. He doesn't have the discipline to stay on message. 3 weeks left. He has to go back to staying on message. If people start thinking about illegals coming in here, 70,000 sexual abuses by illegals last year, 70,000. These are things he could be putting out there that really spank her because she's not going, she's an Obama person, and it's happened under his watch. And he needs to get back to the issues because we got to have the Supreme Court, folks. If they get the Supreme Court, you just go ahead and look at America now, the changes that we've already gone through. And watch what happens in the next 10 years when she puts these people on the courts for a lifetime, not to mention all these federal judges. Obama, I've heard Obama to say, if you listen to Fox News, nobody would vote for me. I would never vote for that man. I ain't got to listen to Fox News. I don't watch Fox News. I watch his policies. They're Marxists and they're socialists at best. So Hillary Clinton could be beat on the issues every single day by Trump, and he's not disciplined enough to stay on the issues. All right, we'll take a break. With Simmons Sporting Goods. The hunt is on. SimmonsSportingGoods.com, SimmonsSportingGoods.com, or you can call them at 800-726-9930. Take a break. Be right back. Oh, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on the road again. It's Simmons Sporting Goods in Bastrop, Louisiana. In conjunction with our good friends at KMLB. Of course, KMLB is where it all started for me 23 years ago. And we're up here, like I said, doing a remote. We'll be here until 11 o'clock. We already met, I don't know how many people come by and said hi, but I do appreciate it. But come on out to the great sale. If you can't get here, go online, SimmonsSportingGoods.com, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Here's the number, 800-726-9930. The hunt is on, and they have a gigantic sale going on. Yeah, it's election, folks, and I've had so many people that are saying what I'm saying about Trump. They just wish he would shut up and just get back to the issues. He's got 3 weeks to get back to the issues. 3 weeks. Hillary Clinton cannot run on any issues. She can't run on job creation. Obamacare is a disaster. I mean, she's trying to run now on man-made global warming. We're going to stop hurricanes, folks. I mean, they have no issues to run on. Just think if the press was just covering the election. She'd be down 10, 15 points. No way nobody wants to vote for that woman. Okay, Trump's giving them ammunition. I'll be the first to tell you he has. He's having them a lot of ammunition, and I wish he didn't. But, when they say it's rigged, and when you come into town and you see people going to talk to people about rigged elections, and what he means is all the things going around the election. The Supreme Court has systematically de-Christianized, paganized American society, declared abortion, homosexual marriage, constitutional rights. That's where the problem's coming from. Their decisions are going to dictate the future of this country. 60 million babies dead because of their decision. Babies. I don't want it. Just get rid of it. The definition of marriage is shot now. Just totally shot. With the changes they're going to make is phenomenal. I just had a friend of mine tell me there's more been exported than deported than coming into this country. That's so far from the truth. That's so far from the truth. I just gave you a figure. 65 million people here can't speak English. 65 million of the 320 million people here can't speak English. If they could speak English, we would know, if English was official language, we would know who's supposed to be here and who doesn't. It would make it real easy if you didn't want to assimilate. But what we're doing is we are assimilating to them. We're assimilating to the people that are coming across the border. That's the dumbest thing you do. That's what all these other countries have done, and it's costing them. It's phenomenal to watch. Let me give you an example. In the DNC, Bernie Sanders, now that we know because of the emails, Bernie Sanders was never going to be the Democrat nominee. Never. Never was going to happen. It couldn't. It was all rigged. Super delegates to Obama. The Democratic Party rigs everything. That is the most controlling party. They want to control your life just like they control their party. That's what's going on in this country. I don't understand why people would accept being imprisoned, being controlled instead of being free. I've never have understood that. But yet, that's the deal. Here's another article. Voter fraud U.S., 10 cases. There was another article that was pretty bad, too. Millennials clueless to the dark history of communism. I got to believe younger people, when I say younger people, 35 down, because of history and what we teach in schools, they're not teaching kids how bad socialism is, how bad communism is, how bad Marxism is, and understanding that our way of being free is so much better than their ways. And so kids, if they don't learn this, they tend to believe that, man-made global warming is going to destroy us because that's what they're being taught. Listen to what the president said the other day. He wants to get back to there's just some people that are telling you what the truth is, and that's the only people we can believe. In other words, 2 or 3 news media outlets that they can control. Think about that. But these people never think about it because there's no thinking on the left. But these young people don't even have a clue how bad communism, socialism, all this stuff leads to stuff that you and me don't ever want to be part of. They don't know how good they had it here in the United States of America. That's why I'm saying these people that vote left ought to have to go live in Venezuela for a year and see what real socialism and Marxism is all about, because that's where Hillary wants to take us. And then what they would say, come on, Griffon, nobody wants to take us to that. Well, you tell me where we're going. Those policies that they're implementing under the president, control the banking, control health care, run debt up to where you can't pay for it. If you look at all those things are not conservative. They're not constitutional. That's another thing, just the constant ripping of the Constitution in the United States of America. By who? By the left. That's why I don't understand Republicans that say, well, I'm going to vote for Hillary. I can't vote for Trump. Then vote against Hillary. Don't vote for her. This lady should never be around press. She's the most, besides Obama, she has no qualifications to be president. I mean, if you look and see what's going on, you just cringe. I noticed that when they say Trump says elections rigged, he's talking about a lot of things. He's not talking about rigged and we have all this voter fraud in every little place that you go. But this is what the press does. They take it and they run with it. They run with the wrong thing. The issues are Obamacare, illegals on the border, what they've done to the military. Look at the debt raised on Obama, the economy, jobs, education. I'm saying inner cities ought to be an issue for Donald Trump. He ought to be telling people, look around, because 40 years of doing what they've done in inner cities, and it's not ever gotten any better. So these same people go to work, they go vote for the same Democrats, and they come back, and they live in the same filth they were living in, maybe worse. They get a free cell phone. I'm sorry, Obama gave everybody a free cell phone. I'm sorry, that's right, they did get the free cell phone. You know, Social Security. People that have paid into this system, like me. I expect my money to be there when I want it, but if it's not there, it's not because I did anything wrong. This is what makes you mad. People that have paid in Social Security, you, me, everybody, you expect that money to be there just like you were promised. What did you do wrong? You went to work. You paid your Social Security. Like in your case, in most people's case, they work for somebody, so they pay half and you pay half. In my case, I'm self-employed. I pay it all. 15 point, whatever it is. 15 point, I forget the number. I let my CPA worry about that. But I pay it all. I pay 100% of my Social Security. So when I get my income tax, whatever bracket I'm in, I add 15% to everything I take home because I have to pay all in my Social Security. Well, why? And you hear people all the time say, man, people tell me all the time, take your Social Security as quick as you can get it. I said, why? They said, take it quick as you can get it because it's not going to be there. Well, why shouldn't it be there? Hadn't the government promised that to me? Have I not played by the rules? I paid my Social Security. Trust me, my CPA says you have to pay this amount, and I pay it. And so when you get this thing in the mail, every quarter, whatever we get in the mail, and they say at 62 you get this, at 67 you get this, at 70 you get this. You expect that because that was a promise made. I did my part. You told me to pay. I'm self-employed. I got to pay 15+%. You tell these employees that work for people that they have to pay into Social Security, and they pay into it. They pay their fair share, and then you tell them, oh, well, you know what, it may not be that. And Hillary Clinton wants to tax that. That's another thing. Why would you tax something that's already been taxed? It's things like that Trump could be running on and running with every day in a plan to fix this. If he says what I'm saying, that English ought to be official language, he's going to upset some people. But my God, what is the language of the United States of America? Why can't you have an official language of the United States of America? We have a different culture than Islam, Muslim countries, Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, Iraq. Let them have that culture. Let them live in their filth. Why are you trying to bring that here? And you're going to bring it here. Because the people that coming over here that don't want to assimilate, and I don't know if it's 10 million or 50 million, and there are already people here that don't want to assimilate anymore. Why don't you leave? Why don't you find that perfect country? Shoot, I'll do some of the driving and chipping on the gas to get you wherever you need to go so you can live that happy life. Why are we shipping all these Muslims over here? Don't they have these beautiful, beautiful mosques in all these places in these other countries where they can have peace? Why are they coming over here? It's not to assimilate. I'm not saying there's not some that want to assimilate, but for the most part, I don't believe that's why people are coming over here. Just ship all these young kids over here overnight. And you got the business side, Republican side, saying, well, we need workers. But dang it, how about these people on welfare? Can't they contribute something to society besides another baby? That's where we need to go. That's what Trump needs to be talking about. He needs to be talking about helping inner cities get up and running, not the way the Democrats do it, where they leave people in the inner cities to be poor, uneducated, and they never get out. All right, 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline. Don't forget SimmonsSportingGoods.com. We'll take a break. Be right back. Your calls are welcome when we get back into the second hour. Goods.com. The hunt is on. And, boy, they got a lot of sales. I brought Lindsay back for a few minutes as well. Lindsay, it's a big, big sale. I want people to know that they can order online as well. And we like to push online here a lot because I know everybody can't get here.
Yes.
But they can order online. They can get the same sales even if they don't walk in the door.
Right. Same thing. You can look through our sales catalog at SimmonsSportingGoods.com. It's on the home page. It's 48 pages full of stuff on sale that you need for this hunting season. Scopes, cameras, clothes, decoys, guns, feeders. I mean, just tons
bullets,
of items.
tails.
Right. Ammo. Just waders, clothing, just tons and tons of stuff that you need. 48 pages.
Because I see you got a bunch of sales on this. How big is gun safes now? Years ago, every now and then somebody would have one, but now it seems like people buy gun safes all the time.
They do, and to keep your guns safe from theft, keep them safe from your grandkids, keep them safe from fire. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. We have a lot of people buying more and more gun safes.
Is that something you ship? That's heavy.
We don't. If you're, relatively close, we do deliver.
Okay.
But that's not something we usually mail.
No, I didn't think so. But any of this stuff you can do online. You can come by and see a 70,000 square foot warehouse. Sales will go on for a few weeks, folks. So 24 months same as cash, which is a big deal.
Yes.
Layaway available.
Layaway, 10% down for 90-day layaway. You can, if you see something in this catalog that you do want and you're planning on coming later to get it, call us. And we can put it on layaway for you. You just give us your credit card, and you can put 10% down, and you can come pick it up later if you're coming through.
Well, you can't hardly beat that. I know Christmas shop. Everybody, I know you don't want to talk about it, but Christmas ain't really right around the corner. I mean, you have the backside of October now.
Right. That's right. So, we're getting close. So call us it's 1-800-726-9930. Call us. You can find some stuff in this magazine you want us to hold for you. You can put it on layaway over the phone. You can go to SimmonsSportingGoods.com to look at the sales paper, and if you want to call us and put it on layaway, just give us a call.
Yeah, that makes it pretty simple.
Pretty easy.
Lindsay, thank you. I may grab you again for the end of the program.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Lindsay. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. All right, we're going to try this. I hope we can get this right. Let's go to the phone lines. We'll do that right now. Let's go. Let me grab this. Let's go to Frank. Frank, how you doing?
Morning, Moon. I'm not doing well.
Why is that?
You have no idea how bad and biased Social Security really is. I can give you a personal case.
Go ahead.
In the private sector, the next 20-plus years, I worked for the state of Louisiana, retired, went back to work in the private sector for another 10 years. I'm now 66. I should be able to get my full retirement. But in order to do so, I have to have 30 years, not quarters, 30 years of substantial income in addition to the time I work for the state. Because I don't, they're cutting my Social Security benefit 60%. Now, let's take another scenario. I worked 15 years in the private sector. I stay home and sit on my rear for 20-plus years, then go back to work in the private sector for 10 years. I get full retirement, no questions asked.
Social Security. Frank?
Yes, sir.
I said when you said full retirement, you meant full Social Security.
Correct. Full Social Security.
Well, I know there's something when you work for the state and all that stuff, their retirement system. I don't think you qualify for Social Security. But I think if you work in the private sector, you do. So, and I hadn't been able to worry about that because I'm 55, so I hadn't really thought about it. I thought I'd take it when I was about 70. Heck, I got young kids. I'll work to the day I die, which is fine with me. But I'm just, I hadn't looked into it as much, but I thought that's kind of how that worked.
But they do reduce it. But in order for them to do a minimal reduction, you have to have 30 years of work in the private sector in addition to whatever you work for the government.
Wow. That's tough. That's tough. Social Security has been jacked with so bad since it started. I don't even know if it was if they didn't make more money. My big gripe with it is if you take a person like me, I've paid into it, and since I'm self-employed, I pay all of it. If you work for somebody, you pay half, and an employee pays half. It's just not fair for all these all these politicians run around. They spend every penny that's ever been put in Social Security, and they spent $20 trillion more than that. And that's my frustration with it because I just don't know who's going to have it, whether they paid into it or not.
Well, my frustration is I've worked, I paid into it. But don't work and don't pay into it, you still get the benefits.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We got people taking benefits in Social Security that never paid a penny into it. And you see all these illegals and people coming in here, if they can help them, it's out of the Social Security, quote, trust fund. And by the way, there's no such thing.
Well, people are under the conception that if you have 40 quarters paid into Social Security, you're in good shape. You're not, because they're requiring me to have 120 quarters.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate the call. Yeah, that's a tough situation. I know it is. By the way, I want to share this with you. This was an article, and this is part of the problem. You talk to people that are older than me, my age. I know what communism is. I know what socialism is. I know it's things that ought to be taught to our young people, how bad those systems are, and it's not being taught anymore. There's a poll, Market Watch. Millennials desperately need to bone up on history of communism. They took a poll, 2,300 Americans, polled by YouGov. 80% of baby boomers, are you a baby boomer? 91% of elderly agree with the statement, communism was and still is a problem in the world today. Millennials only 55% think it's a problem. Okay? An emerging generation of Americans had little understanding of the collectivist system and its dark history, the abuse of people. Furthermore, half of Americans between the ages 16 and 20 said they would vote for socialists, while 21% said they would go back and vote for a communist. This is young people. A socialist and communist, these people, by the way, don't want to work. They don't understand what hard work is. Capitalism, on the other hand, is viewed favorable by 64% of those over the age of 65 compared to only 42% of millennials. And look, when you're young, let's just go back. I used to tell my kids from 16, 24 years, dumb as you're going to get. If you really look at the numbers, you don't know nothing. I'm sorry, you hadn't lived to know anything, okay? So if 42% think capitalism is good, that means 58% of millennials think it's horrible. Where did they learn that from? They had to learn it through schools. They had to get it through high school or colleges or somewhere to think our way of doing things is wrong. That's what I'm saying. They ought to go live in Venezuela and Cuba. Maybe that's what we ought to do with all young kids. You got to go live in Venezuela, Cuba, or a Muslim country for 1 year, and then come back and tell us how bad our country is. It's a crazy. People in the military have been over there. They come back and got to pull their hair out. Millennials say the economic, this now, works against them, while 4 out of 10 call for complete change to ensure that the highest earners pay their fair share. Where do you think they got that from? TV. They got that from a college classroom where they need to pay their fair share. And here's another thing. They think the economic system is working against them. You know why? Because they don't want to go work it. If you don't work it, it will work against you. Try not working. That's what I was telling you, folks. Go talk to people that are getting a check from the government and don't go to work every day. They're never going to live the American dream. So Obama comes along, Hillary Clinton comes along, and they tell you, vote for me, I'm going to help you prosper. Your ship's going to come in. Folks, their ships hadn't even been designed. They're waiting on the edge of the beach, waiting for their ship to come in. It hadn't even been designed. It hadn't been drawn up. Why? Because in America, if you want to succeed, it's called hard work. These people and these millennials don't want to work hard. The generation before me, and Phil, I can say you generation before me, y'all really showed us how to work and get after it. And I learned everything I learned from my mom and dad and watching other people. I've got to work in the morning. You know, tomorrow morning, if I get up, I'm going to work. That's what I was taught. So what's happening with some of these people, they really want an easy way out. They want to go to school for free, college, spend 7 years in college, get out, make it a 6-figure job, not really doing anything. I mean, they don't have any perspective on how bad communism and socialism really is, and Marxism, which is we're learning. These young people think that's a good system. According to this, a lack of historical perspective, according to the foundation, that the survey showed among a big chunk of the younger generations. For instance, check this out. A third of millennials believe more people were killed under George Bush than Joseph Stalin. You heard me right. More people believe, a third of them believe George Bush killed more people than Joseph Stalin, who was a communist murderer, a dictator. So you see stuff like this, and you want to know why Hillary Clinton can win? One of the concerns the foundation has had since the establishment is that an engaging generation of Americans have little understanding of the collectivist system and the dark history. Unfortunately, this report, which we intend to release on an annual basis, confirms a worrisome impression. George Bush killed more people than Joseph Stalin. Why? They watch the news. They go to the internet. They made Bush sound like he was a horrible person. And so that's what they believe now. That's a phenomenal thing. By the way, we got Colonel Manus would join us, who's running for the Senate at 10:30 break. Anyway, you got to read this, folks, to believe it. Unbelievable. How many people think Social Security will be around when they get there? Anyway, this is what our young kids are learning. Take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Oh, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll here at Simmons Sporting Goods in Bastrop, Louisiana, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Give them a call, 1-800-726-9930, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. The hunt is on, and if you're looking for anything with hunting, I promise you they have it here at Simmons Sporting. This is a gigantic 70,000 square foot warehouse with nothing. They load it from top to bottom, so they're ready to serve you. Yeah, when you read this stuff about these millennials, and by the way, it's not just millennials. Let's just be honest with you. They got people my age that believe in all this stuff. They don't have the perception of things are bad in this country, and they're getting bad. I agree, but their perception is twisted and like everything else. They think it's bad here. That's why they need to go spend. Why don't they go to Iran and say, okay, I'm here. I want to live and do the things that I want to do. And you're really free. Or go anywhere in Iraq or Saudi Arabia. Or just go live your life. Go to Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico. Go live in these beautiful countries. And then you're going, I wonder why everybody's crossing the border. Hell, you're going to be sneaking across the border too. But with Obama and Hillary, you don't have to sneak, just walk across because hell, ain't nobody stopping you. But the point being is, for them to think that communism and socialism, 20-something% of the people, that's 42%, think it's okay. Only 42% of the people think the system that we have now is good. They think it's rigged against them. Let me tell you something. If you don't get up in the morning, and go to work in the morning, your boat's not coming in. You're not going to prosper. If you think that the government's going to give you free health care and give you a check and give you a free cell phone, and boy, your life is going to be great, you are food. You got to get up and go be the best you could be. That's why you need less government, so people can go be the best they can be. All this illegitimacy has destroyed a lot of stuff. You put kids and young people behind the 8 ball having babies at 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age where you don't know nothing. You don't have that good family structure, the good church structure that goes with it, and then you want to know what's wrong. So then you start, well, what you do, instead of looking within, you start blaming the system. You know, folks, there's really not a system. It's really not. In America, you make your own system. I know people filthy rich, retired 50 years old, 40 years old. I know people like me going to work a while. I know it's just the way it is. But you know, when I look back, I make my own bed. Nobody's going to come along and say, hey, man, here's a big check. Go enjoy yourself. You know, somebody just wrote to me, millennials have their faults, but millennials think the way because the older generations failed to educate them and provide discipline. I agree. And I'm going back to what I talked about, illegitimacy, the breakup of the home, the Supreme Court making decisions on killing babies, the breakup of the Judeo-Christian value system that was here. We're post-Christian now. So when you look at all those kind of things, I agree. Have we failed millenniums? Yeah, in a lot of ways we have. We don't fight at the school systems what's being taught. It's a phenomenal thing to watch. And you think about it. You're not being taught that communism, Marxism, and socialism is a horrible system. You could show all kind of history of Stalin, Hitler. I mean, all these bad people and what they've done in Vietnam. And you go see how these people live. Go into Africa and see how people live in these tribes they live under. Nobody wants to live like that. Then why don't we have people that want to send us back to the Stone Ages? That's what man-made global warming is all about. It's about controlling the water, the air, the energy we use. It's all about control. This is what these are. China, control. And yet you got young people that think there's a better system than we have because they're being taught that. The guy that sent that to me on the thing is right. We're teaching them the wrong things. And so they're grabbing hold of it and running with it. And of course, in the universities and things of that nature, there's no telling what's being taught there. I can't tell you because I hadn't been in college since 83. I went 79 to 83, so I hadn't stuck my head back into college since. Matter of fact, I was asked not to stick my head back into college. I didn't think about that. I was asked, would you please not stick your head back in here? The only thing they wanted to use me for was an example of making me an example of, you see that guy, he made it through college, that means anybody can make it. So I think that's the only thing they wanted to use me for. So I look at this and go, wow, only 42% think capitalism is a good system, and that 4 out of 10 think it's rigged against them. If you want to be the best you can be, go out and be the best you can be. Nobody, what's rigged against you is regulation and taxes. That rigs against you. That's what's rigged against you. That's why you elect people that want you to be free to go be the best you can be. Illegitimacy has caused so much dependency. Lack of education has caused so much dependency. Look what they do, the Democrats do in inner cities. Shove everybody in these poor areas. Vote for me, I'm going to get you out of it, and I'll make you prosper. It never happens. It never will happen. We got socialism and Marxism being practiced right here. And some of the people are buying into it, the hype that this is what we need to be. And it's phenomenal. I just can't believe, I had a guy sitting in front of me rolling his eyes going, oh, my God, I can't believe people believe that. But they do. 21% would vote for a communist. 21% would vote for a socialist. That right there ought to scare the fire out of everybody. You want to know why Hillary Clinton and Obama gets votes? Anyway, we got to take a break. Colonel Rob Maness would join us. There's a big debate tonight in the Senate race. He's not in it, but he would like to comment on it. We'll talk to him in just a few minutes. Hello, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. Simmons Sporting Goods, where we at. The hunt is on, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Check them out, folks. You'll be glad you did. What a great place. Great Louisiana business people. Just been working at this for a long time and to bring you great service. And Simmons Sporting Goods, the hunt is on right now. Check them out. All right. I'm taking it. Colonel Maness, are you with me? Colonel Maness, are you with me?
I got you now, Moon. The music was in my ears.
All right, good. We're trying to give you some rhythm. That's all.
Hey, I love it. I love it. You have the best lead-in and exit music on the air.
All right, Colonel Maness, you've got there's a debate tonight. They limited it to 5. Just your comments on that at first. I know in debates with 24 people, they always do a criteria thing. You were one of the ones I thought that would probably end up in a debate, but they stopped at 5. Just your thoughts on that.
Well, the criteria they set is what really is causing the issue, but really it's the violation of federal election law that the Council for a Better Louisiana and the Louisiana Public Broadcasting Corporation are committing. That's the problem, and we'll be filing a complaint tomorrow. They are about to commit an illegal independent expenditure on behalf of these 5 millionaire candidates. Cable is violating its nonprofit status, and LPB is violating not only its nonprofit status but its government agency status. So those are the particulars of what's wrong with it. It's unfortunate that they can't have the most independent, fighting, leadership-skilled candidate for Louisiana and America on that stage.
Well, what if you're filing a complaint? What does the complaint do for you, Colonel Maness, or for the deal? Because the debate's tonight, so that would be over and beyond. What does it do? What are you trying to accomplish with it? I'm just kind of curious because it's after the fact, not before.
Well, sure, you can't file a complaint until somebody commits a violation. They have to have the debate to commit the violation. We're just documenting the violation of federal election law, and the FEC will have to investigate the complaint. We're also going to have a Facebook Live event at COL Rob Maness on Facebook from 6 to 7 p.m., and we'll get my message out on that broadcast. And we'll talk about this issue and why they're committing this illegal act. But, Moon, I'm hearing you talk about at the national level these rigged election and everything from Trump. And I got to tell you, we've always known that it's like that in Louisiana a little bit, You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. The debate, I think you would agree with me. You got to have a format, and I just don't think they're going to put 24 people on there. By the way, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, by the way, Colonel. I'm just saying everybody's going to have a format. They're going to set the criteria. I remember when the Republicans ran, it was 16 or 18 of them on the stage, and you couldn't really get everything done that you needed to get done. Let me ask it this way. What should have been the criteria on this particular debate or one like this? What do you think would have been a fair criteria?
The criteria should have been 5% in the polls.
Okay. And it should stop there. What was the criteria for this debate?
It initially was 5% in the polls and $250,000 raised for your campaign. And a few days before they made the announcement, they shifted that $250,000 raised for your campaign to $1 million raised for your campaign.
Who else would have gotten in had they kept it the same besides you? Would it have been 3 more, 5 more? Or did you even look at that?
Based on the polling that we had seen, we had broken the 5% threshold, even though all of the polls that we've seen since mid-July have been rigged and manipulated. We still broke the 5% threshold, and we believe that's why they shifted the dollar amount raised. And you know what? The millionaires that are on this stage, many of them have given themselves more than $600,000 in this campaign to get their coffers to $1 million, and we just don't think that's right. And I agree with you. You got to have some format, but to keep a candidate that's polling at 5% consistently or better, and has gotten 200,000 votes plus in a statewide election, more than anybody except for the leading Republican on the stage in a statewide election, is just it's really a wrong thing to do, but it's illegal too. They're also committing an FEC violation, and we're going to file that complaint on that. But you know, it's really amazing how far the establishment's willing to go, man. They're really trying to keep me out of this. Just yesterday, I received a direct threat that if I didn't drop out and endorse another candidate, I was going to be ruined politically, and was offered a position by someone that I'm really going to go into detail on my broadcast tonight, but was offered a future position by someone, and that's a bribe, and that's an illegal act, and we will be filing a criminal complaint in regard to this. But it's just really sad that the establishment's willing to go so far to rig an election to keep a highly qualified individual like me out of public debates and really trying to suppress our voter base. You know,
Colonel Manus, you by the way, talking to Colonel Rob Manus, he's running for the United States Senate. Colonel Manus, you came in at 14% last time. You're telling me polls now have you at 5%. Where do you feel like you are in this particular election? Because, by the way, with 24 candidates, I'm not convinced that the people in the runoff will have more than about 20. I'm not convinced somebody with 16, 17, 18% won't get in the runoff. I don't know where this thing is going yet. Just your thoughts on that, because I know where you were. I'm not saying you're not higher or lower, but I with 14, is that taking some momentum away from you, or you just feel like that with the polling that's out there, you just don't agree with it?
Well, it's not just the fact that I disagree with the polling that's out there, but when you take a real hard, detailed, analytical look at all the polls that have been released since Labor Day, they're all being manipulated for another candidate or by supporters of candidates. Even the SMOR poll, they won't release who their 30 subscribers are and make it public. So, in our opinion, that's a manipulated poll that's being done by supporters, probably involved of other candidates, maybe even more than one in those subscriber lists. So since Labor Day and the floods around the Baton Rouge area, it's very, very difficult to poll, and nobody's polling to all 24 candidates. The white supremacist in the race tends to underpoll. We know that. So I just don't put any stock in that. Moon, I agree with you. I think that, and the pundits do too, that this race for the runoff is going to be about getting your base out. And when we started this race in January, we knew where we were at, and we've been talking to our base voters from 2014, and we have a good feeling for where we're at, and we're competitive in this race. And I encourage everybody to go out there and don't listen to them and vote for me and vote for Donald Trump, because we're the two individuals that are going to get the job done for them.
Yeah, by the way, if you just joined us, we're talking to Colonel Rob Manus. He is a candidate for the United States Senate seat. They're having a big debate tonight. Only 5 candidates are coming to the debate. They only got 5 candidates that were invited to the debate. And this is one of the things that we're talking about. Colonel Manus, who ran for Senate just a couple of years ago and got 14%, was one of the ones that didn't get asked to come to the debate after he got, what did you tell me, 200,000 votes?
I received over 202,000 votes in 2014.
Wow. Well, what do you do now? What do you think you have to do? Do you have I guess it's a question for you. This is a question I ask anybody. What is the base? Your base? Is your base still solid? Do you find it's grown, stayed the same? What is your best base?
Our base is solid. Our statewide base is solid. We have been in contact with my voter base, and we have grown that base over time. We're supported by a super PAC called Warrior PAC that has just announced yesterday they bought a $308,000 TV ad buy as we go into the November 8th election and early voting starting on October 25th. That will continue to increase that base. The voters know that I'm the only Republican candidate that stood steadfastly by Donald Trump through the terrible weekend where the 2 congressmen and the state treasurer denied him. And that's a fact. You can't run away from a headline that says Boustany and Fleming slammed Trump. The Trump voters in this state know that. And that's where our base is expanding, and we continue to work that base. And we think we've got a great shot at getting in the runoff, as competitive as any of the 5 millionaires that are going to be on that stage tonight. And I can guarantee you this, Moon, nobody on that stage tonight is going to do anything to change anything in Washington, D.C. to make Louisiana or America better for Rob Maness will.
Yeah, all righty, Colonel Rob Maness. All right, Colonel Maness, what do? You going to file tomorrow?
The FEC complaint will be filed tomorrow. I'll talk more specifics about the direct threat to me, and the bribe by the Louisiana establishment in my broadcast this evening from 6 to 7 on Facebook, and that's you can find that @COL Rob Maness to watch it live from 6 to 7.
Yeah, okay. All right, Colonel, we wish you the best of luck, and we'll see what you say and what gets out there.
Well, thanks, Moon. I appreciate it. God bless you.
All right, thank you, sir. God bless. All right, one more segment to go on the Moon Griffon Show. Hit Hickson. That's me, Ed Hickson. At Simmons Sporting Goods, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. The hunt is on. We'll be right back. One more segment to go. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Well, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Of course, that was Colonel Rob Maness, who says he's filing charges tomorrow, not getting a chance to get into the debate. The debate tonight between the United States Senate candidates, there's only 5 of them that are going to be in a debate. There's 24 people running for the United States Senate seat, but only 5 in a debate tonight. I know Pretty Boy Abe, my buddy Troy, I call him Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy's, he filed a suit and it didn't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't go anywhere. Let's see. Somebody ripping my butt for what now? I'll get to that later. Can't be ripping a nice guy like me. It's almost unbelievable. Even Brandon don't understand that. All righty. I'm just now looking at my email. I've been working this morning. I hadn't had a chance to look at it. There's a couple of rips on me. Wow. I didn't know I was so loved. Glenn Myers joins us. Glenn, how you doing?
I'm very good, Moon.
Now, Glenn, I like to call you let me turn this down. I like to call you the buying agency for Simmons. That may not be the proper term for you.
Well, our agency has been handling advertising for Simmons for about 18 years. So we've been around for a little while.
Oh, no, I know you have. By the way, I'm glad you're doing well. People don't know that you had an accident.
Yeah,
You got it. And by the way, and I'll give you a little pub on your business. I want you to tell a story because, I like to fish. You like to fish. You good at it. I'm not worth a flip. But you had a boating accident. It wasn't a boating accident like you think. I want people to know about this because it scared me too. And I'm getting ready to put my boat back in the garage. And you had an accident that I want you to describe it to people because people are dealing with boats and you deal with gas and you deal with electronics and you deal with charging your batteries, without going into the horrid detail because you had a tough time, but just what happened.
No, you do something 100 times and over the course of several years and you think, I've done this so many times you don't even think about it. And seemed to have a little fuel leak and took a trickle charger off a battery that wasn't working on the onboard charger, and kind of take things for granted. But sparks and gas fumes, they don't mix, and then when there's gasoline settled at the bottom of your boat. And
that happens at every boat. I got one I'm sure it's happened to, too.
You put all that together, and it can be a real tragedy. And I'm very fortunate, very fortunate. I did get,
it did blow.
I did blow, and
blow.
I did get severely burned. But
by the way, folks, he looks as bad as he always has.
It did not improve my looks at all.
No, but you did take some burns on your.
I did. LSU Burn Center, great people over there. They took good care of me, and at least there's some of those tax dollars that are working.
Huh? No doubt about it. But the reason I wanted you to bring up the story was real simple. We take for granted. I take for granted when I go in my boat, it's charged up, and none could fly. You got gas tank.
Right.
Gas tanks leak. And Danny Williams, I was talking to Danny, who's a buddy of ours, he said in his garage, when he backs up, he opens the back deal with a gas, or leaves it open, because what happened, it traps in that boat when it closed.
That's right, and that's exactly what happened to me.
And by the way, if your charger's like mine, the back of the charger, I just unplug it, plug it in, and unplug it, and plug the little back, so you never open the deal.
Right.
And you never realized that
thing. And that would have been the case this time, but one of those banks wasn't working, and I had to use a trickle charger, as many of us have done, hundreds, thousands of times maybe. you just take things like that for granted.
Yeah.
And I didn't open it up, and I didn't think safety, and I didn't turn it off before I took the clip off. There's so many things that should have happened if I was operating safely, and it didn't.
And I didn't ask you. I'm glad you're going to be okay. I saw the burns and all that stuff, but did your boat blow?
There's some damage to the boat.
Damage to your building and
insurance
everything?
company. No, actually, I had it hooked to the truck, ready to go to the tournament.
You're supposed to beat me the other day.
I was supposed to go beat you. That's right. And that didn't happen. Instead, I went to an ER instead of the river. So.
But the boat's messed up.
The boat is totaled.
Okay.
So it is. There's things that can be salvaged.
But didn't it throw you about 15, 20 feet in the air?
About 16 feet. Yeah.
I mean, it threw you straight up in the air.
Yeah, and back. Yeah. When I rolled up off the ground, my boat, I was watching the flames shoot out of the back of it, and I looked down, and I had some flames of my own.
To deal with.
My arm was on fire. So
but as far as the arm, were you 100% recovery one day, or what's
I'll be 100. I'm probably about 90, 95 now. So.
Are you moving around? You said your hand was a little bit. The reason why I want you to give the story was a lot of my buddies, we're all fishing, all that stuff, and we take all that for granted with gas, electricity running in the boat, sparks, and all that stuff. And Danny told me, he said, Moon, make sure when you back your boat, I'm talking about closed garage.
Yeah.
And even yours didn't really happen in a closed garage.
No, it didn't. I was just outside. I was literally about 3 feet away from the house because I had it, ready to go to the tournament, and we always like to close the garage at night. So I had backed it out, taken it out the night before.
Good thing it didn't happen in the garage because I'm sure you could have had a house fire.
They would have blown the house up, yeah. It would have burned the house.
Well, you've been working with Simmons a lot of times. I know you do a lot, and I don't know who all does your.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great people that help us with the catalogs that we put out. We put out 3 a year, and this is our second one for the year. We'll have another one close to Black Friday, but the Hunt is on sale is something we always do here in October. Things are starting to cool down. Guys are starting to get out there and find out what's broke, what they need to get new, and if we don't have it, you don't need it. That's kind of the case.
Well, with 70,000 square foot, I mean, my God, I hadn't been able to come here yet and not find something that you can use or something you need.
Well, I know there's always something in here I need. I just bought something just now. I never walk in here. I've been walking in here, a couple of times a week for almost 20 years, and I never walked in here without buying anything. So, yeah, I'm a supporter as much as I am a promoter.
No doubt about it. But it's the Hunt is on sale, SimmonsSportingGoods.com. Who does your website stuff? Do you do all that?
Yeah, we do all that here in-house. We do all that here in-house. Our website is something to be proud of. It'll rival some of the big box stores that we've seen out there, and we've done a lot of work on that. And
but a website's such important in retail anyway right now.
SimmonsSportingGoods.com. You can get this catalog that we put out digitally there on the website. You can see all the specials that we have. Anything over $99 is free shipping. Our sale is going on right now, and we'll be going on till the last Sunday of the month. And we're open 8:30 to 6, 24 months, same as cash financing. You won't see that anywhere else. And I'm telling you, if
other thing people
you need
can do is layaway to Christmas. You can start now as well.
Oh, absolutely. For the kids, we've got toys, we've got youth wear, we've got youth firearms.
A lot of something else I noticed. A lot of women hunt, but you got a lot of women gear for people to wear as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of casual clothes. I mean, we're sitting almost right here in the middle of lady clothing.
I got to meet all the ladies that came in.
No, there's a lot of casual clothing ladies can find in here. We've got an enormous assortment. It's not just a place for camouflage and insulated outerwear. We've got a lot of things ladies can come in here and find look pretty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So if somebody's shopping. Do y'all, and I didn't ask Lindsay, they do gift certificates here as well?
Absolutely. We've got gift cards. You can order those on the website. You can call in to the 800 number, 800-726-9930, and you can order those over the phone. We'll send them right to the house, put whatever value you want on there, and you keep it in your wallet just like a credit card.
That makes it I think it's silly not to have gift cards at this time because when you walk in here, you might get confused. There's so much stuff in here and go, you know what? I'm going to give my husband or my wife a gift card.
Well, it makes it
easy for everybody.
That's right. Makes it so easy.
I tell you what, it's one of the number one gifts. Except cash is still number one. I don't care what anybody says. But a gift card at a place like Simmons is number two because it's like cash. You walk in, you put a little cash with it, you can probably get something that you want. Well, look, brother, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
You look about the same. I'm glad the
Good to
arm's
see
gonna
you.
be
Good
okay.
to be seen.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Especially after that incident happened. All right, folks, God bless. Have an awesome day. Back in studio tomorrow. Cal Ross in for me on Thursday. And we'll see you then. Looking forward to it. God bless. Have an awesome day.